time to go to school. But my dad is drunk. He doesn't even care about...
It's just making noise.
Yes. So I remember one day I ran to the grave of my mom and I was crying at night and telling her to wake up. I was really going through a lot and I could feel nobody understood me. And then the sisters of my dad, they are discriminating you because you're not their real daughter. It was really difficult managing. I'm not allowed to go to school like any other normal children. So I knew these people will catch me and rape me, throw me in the river. There is a river there. So I was just crying on the street and I'm going, but I don't know where I'm going. So I made 3, they allowed me to eat. So one day they will send me home. I told them nobody will come because sometimes they will want parents to come to school, but nobody was willing to come. And I remember a time we were told to call parents to come and help in the kitchen department so that they may deduct their mom the school fees from there, but my grandma refused to come. So I remember a certain time I went to the kitchen and I cut cabbages. I don't know how many in the house. Till that time I was alone. And I was bitter with my family, I can tell you for sure. For many years I never went back since 2011 until 2018. And that lady was really, she was really mad at my family. She even took me to the chief. But I told the chief, no, I'm not going back there. They're going to kill me. I told them, let them give me my belongings too. Then I'll figure out. Then my uncle disowned me that time. They told me they don't want ever to hear from me. That I should never call them uncles again in front of the chief. I remember the last time I enjoyed my childhood. I don't remember the last time I enjoyed my youth or my teenage. I don't. I had to become a parent at a younger age. I had to become a parent to my son now, and I'm alone. All this while, till date, I've known pain and rejection. They really did everything to press me down, to bring me down. So I was really bitter, and I remember when they used to call me and ask me where you are. I told them I'm at Koinange Street, where prostitutes are, because that's what they used to refer me as. So I was really bitter. Even when I gave birth, they never knew I had a child until when my son was around 3 years. I had a thyroid, and this thyroid was grown inside. So I couldn't breathe well, I couldn't eat. So if I swallow things, you could see something moving like the Adam's apple for men. So I'm now sick, and I remember now calling my stepfather. I told them I'm dying like my mom because some of the hospital told me they're suspecting it is cancer. Mwelu Foundation and told Mwelu that I'm a prostitute. Mwelu told them I wonder. They wanted me to be chased everywhere. They wanted to spoil everything. Imagine crying, literally. I knew rapture had taken place. I lived in it. So I'm asking the Lord, what made you leave me? Is this hair? I had human hair. It was 3 months old. It was 3 days old. Very mpya kabisa. I paid around 5,000 for the human hair. I used to put weave totally. So I told the Lord, what made you leave me? I knew it had happened. I was left behind. In that dream, I lived it like it had happened. Amani, I had drawn the eyelashes, those things. I started cutting my hair at night alone. I felt dirty immediately after that dream, actually. I felt dirty that even water could not wash me. And I didn't know what I wanted to do or what was supposed to be done. So I remember it was this hair, Lord, I'm going to remove it so that you may find me the way you created me. I'm sorry, God. Please come back for me. And I'm cutting with my razor. I'm feeling dirty. I'm taking a shower. I'm washing my face. I'm washing my eyebrows. I could say I was like an aura because I'm used to drawing the pencil and all that. This was around now 12 midnight. I took my phone and called the sister, my aunt. I told her, do you know rapture has happened? She told me, no, we are in the meeting. I told them, maybe even you guys are the one who are left. Yes. They told me, no, the worship is continuing. Praise the Lord, blessed viewers. It's a blessed afternoon here from us. And today I'm blessed to host a very blessed daughter of the Lord. She's going to introduce herself and she's going to give us her testimony. But before we go into her testimony, press the subscribe button, like this video so that we can reach a lot more people, so that their lives can be changed by these testimonies.
So, my sister, you are so much welcome to Daughter of Jerusalem show, the testimony episode. Please just introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thank you so much, even for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much, beloved people. My name is Pastor Anastasia, Chief College. Yes.
Yes, Anastasia, as you give us your testimony, I want you to take us back to your childhood.
Okay.
Where were you born? Where were you raised? How was life like growing up?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much once again, Pastor Berry. I have a very unique childhood, but I can say, because I was born in Nandi County. Um, I was born in a place called Chekunuk. It's in Nandi County. And my childhood is just literally, okay. Okay, so I can only remember a few things because let me just capture from maybe 2003. I'm the firstborn in my family, and I'm the only girl in my family. I have three brothers who are small.
Yes.
They are younger than me. That is my siblings. And when I was born, my mother came with me, whereby I was born outside wedlock. So when my mom got married in 1993, I think, so she came with me. But then again, something happened in the year 2000. She started getting sick. And at that time, I think I was around 8 years. So she was in and out of the hospital. But later,
Yes.
she was found to have had cancer, throat cancer to be specific. So that was the time now, around 2002, sorry, not 2000. So my brother, who was by then, our last born brother was born at that time, that was 2002. And my mom also had cancer, so she was in and out of the hospital. But by then, uh, eh, cancer it was not known like right now. It was just starting. So by the time they discovered my mom had stage 4 cancer, and at that time, around 2003, it became serious. It became really serious, and I was in class 3 by that time. So my mother died that same year, around December 29, Monday, she passed on.
Sorry about that.
So that is now where I can say my life started actually.
Okay, before we continue, can you tell us a little bit of growing up? I mean, what you can remember about your mom, being the only girl. Do you think maybe you were pampered? What was the relationship like with your mom?
Um, I can say I didn't stay. My mom, she was a teacher.
Yes.
I was not pampered because I was the firstborn. Always the firstborn, you have to be responsible for your brothers. And at that time, my mother was very strict. She was very strict, and but of course, she loved us so much. She really loved us. But we grew in a village where there were many traditions and all that. My family came from a Catholic church,
Yes.
and at that time, um, the religion was all Catholic. I can't say I remember so much because I was very young, to tell you the truth. When my mom died, I was 9 years old. So I can't remember much, but I remember my mom was a teacher. She was very loving. Of course, she was very strict, and at that moment, I had learned a lot of things.
Yeah, teachers, they're always very strict.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I remember I knew how to wash clothes. I had already known how to take care of my siblings, to cook and all that. Yeah.
Okay, maybe now you can take us through this time. Now mom has passed, you're the firstborn, your brothers are looking up to you, and of course there are other family members. I know obviously the roles changed, now you have maybe a lot more to do.
Yes.
How did mom's passing on change your life?
Wow. I can say my life took a turn. It was never the same again, because I can say during that time I lost my childhood. Why do I say this? After my mom passed on, my dad, now my stepfather, he went into depression, whereby he he got lost in alcohol. And at that time, my dad went to his relatives when was in issues. He will come back even after 2 weeks. He doesn't know what we've eaten or anything.
And that time you are alone with your brothers?
Yes, I'm alone with my brothers, and they were young. My brother was around 1 year, the last born, and the second born was around 2 years. So they are different.
So you are like 9 years,
5 years,
and you have younger siblings, and you're able to
Yes.
take care of them alone, even a smaller one of 1 year.
Yes, the brother who follows me had 5 years, and the other one was 2 years, and then this one had 1 year surgery. So when my mom died, things changed. The family of my dad started changing. They started telling me to go to my real father, where my dad was, and I didn't know who my real father was at that moment. And it reached a point I'm not allowed to go to school so that I may take care of my siblings. And also at that time, my family, the family of my father, my aunties, they used to cook changa, alcohol. They used to make alcohol, commonly known as changa. And at that time, I'm not allowed to go to school. I'm supposed to go bring water from the river. River was very far during that time. So you would go maybe 2 kilometers to get water from the river. And at that time, I'm taking care of my siblings. I'm supposed to go to school. You're the one now looking for food. My dad was not reliable at that moment because, like I told you, went into depression. Yes, and he was drinking all the time. So I had to become the mother and the father to my brothers. At some point, we will go to harvest tea leaves in the farms, so for us to get money.
Yeah, you offer labor.
Yes. I would go and when you go and harvest tea, at that time they were buying, I think, 10 shillings. So I would only manage to harvest maybe 60 kilos. That now I'll get around 60 shillings. Then you buy food, you buy clothes for your brothers. It was really difficult for me.
Yes.
And at that time, I was in grade 3. My performance in school also started coming down.
Dropping.
Yeah.
And how about maybe your other relatives, maybe your aunties and your uncles or your shosho? What were they doing about it?
Actually, my grandmother, she was in Nairobi. She has always been in Nairobi. So after my mom passed on, they never came back to the village. We were left there. We had a sister to my mom. She was very supportive, but of course she has a family, so she would send us support whenever she can't. But I can say it was difficult. We were alone, She would come once in a while because also I told you she has a family in Kapsabet by then. And I remember there is this time when the sister to my aunt, to my mom, one of them said, we were not allowed to have even milk because at that time they would tell us they sold all the cows to treat my mom. So we were not allowed to have to share milk with us.
So if there's some milk in the family,
they can't share.
Then you and your siblings are not given, but
Yes.
the other people can have milk.
Yes, they could even sell, but us we were not. So I'd go and borrow from our distant relative from the side of my grandfather. But they'll give you what today and tomorrow, and then people get tired.
They can't give every day.
Yeah, they can't give you. We were really struggling even with food sometimes, And schools, by then we used to wake up very early, 4. You're supposed to be at school by 5 to go for preps, And I'm having these younger brothers now, they are starting school around 2 or 4. They started a school called Maranatha. It was a missionary school. So I'll take them in the morning, then come back, go to school, come back for
but
lunch.
This time you are living at your grandmom's place.
No. We were staying in our house where my mom died, our house.
And your dad is there?
Yeah, he will come and go. He was not there frequently.
So let's say a time that he does not come back, you're the only supposed to look for food, you cook, you bathe the children, and put them to bed, you wash clothes and still go to school.
Yes, in fact it reached a point even my dad will take maybe the flour and go and sell so that he can drink. So he was not even helping much.
So the I mean the
maize.
money maybe the money that you maybe work to get,
Yes.
he can still come and pick something from the house
Yes, and go and sell or
Yeah,
pick the
that
money
was
and go
very
and do. It was
difficult.
difficult. Then it reached a point where he came back home drunk at around 3 a.m. and he woke us up. And I woke up, I've given him food, but still he was not allowing me to go and sleep. He's just singing there, you know. So I at that time I saw like my life was just miserable, and I remember I was crying because I had only few hours for me to help my brothers and prepare them to go to school. But my dad is drunk. He doesn't even care about
It's just making noise.
Yes, yes. So I remember one day I ran to the grave of my mom and I was crying at night and telling her to wake up. I was really going through a lot and I could feel nobody understood me. And then the sisters of my dad, they are discriminating you because you're not their real daughter. It was really difficult managing. I'm not allowed to go to school like any other normal children. Sometimes my mom, the sister to my mom was really feeling it, but now she didn't have that capability to help
And
at
maybe
the
she may
moment.
have thought if she
Yes.
picked her away from the
Yeah.
other boys, they would also suffer.
Yeah, because I remember the last words when my mom died, she told her to take care of me, to take me with her. But I was the one who insisted to stay with my brothers. I could only imagine how if I go, how are
How
they
their
going
lives
to
are going
survive.
to be.
Yeah.
Especially the smallest one. No,
Excuse
that
me.
one was very young. 1 year really needs motherly
Oh,
attention all
yes,
the time.
yes. So now come 2006, something happened. We had come from school. We used to go, it was a day school, of course. So I'd come for lunch. Then, while we were eating lunch, there is a stone that came from the window. It hit me on my shoulder. It was from my brother. So I was really injured. He threw a
Was
stone.
playing with the
Yes.
stone.
No, he was not playing. It was intentional. Kumbe the ants. I don't know if they had told them or something. So now I'm injured and I was eating. I dropped my blade because I felt extreme pain in on my shoulder. So I'm crying and they are laughing. My aunts are laughing and they were saying, hey, umefanya vizuri na nimepigwa mawe.
They're encouraging the boy to
Yes.
hit you.
So that was the time now I decided to run away. I thought these people would kill me and I was asking, why are you doing this to me? And they are clapping for my brother. He's done something good, and I told them, why are you doing this to me? So I was in pain and nobody was caring, so I escaped. And I remember that time I only had uniform and it was torn here.
At this time, how old were you?
I was 9 years, 10 years. I think I was 10 years. I was 10 years or 11 there, because now I'm running away. I walked for almost 6 kilometers to stage where the matatus were. But on the way I met 3 women who used to be board of directors with my mom. My mom was a teacher. And she was also a board of directors from one of the secondary school at home. So they say, this is Anastasia, mtoto wa marehemu, you know. Why are you crying? And I was really injured. They really pitied me and they gave me 50 shillings, I remember. So when I arrived at the stage, I took that 50 shilling. I went to Kapsabet to see the sister to my mom because I was really injured. I needed help and nobody could help me. So when she saw me, she really cried and took me to the hospital. My hand was broken.
Oh.
So they had to do a plaster on my hand.
So you, even as you were running for
Yes.
these 6 kilometers, you had a very serious injury. You had a
Yes.
fracture in your
I had a
hand.
fracture. I couldn't know. I was really
Oh.
crying because of the pain, and I was walking. We didn't have shoes by then, and you know it's a tarmac road. So I was just walking and crying.
The tarmac also burning.
Yes, burning my feet because it was sunny. So, but we were used to, because that was the only thing we were used. That was the life we had grown with. You know. So when I arrived in Kapsabet, she took me to the hospital. And when she took me to the hospital, I stayed. She took me in now, and she decided to take me in and to take me to school
School.
from Kapsabet. So that is when now we were separated with my brothers till date. But I used to go and say hi to them.
But when you left, maybe somebody took over now.
No, when I left now, the second brother of mine and their aunt took care of them, I think. Yeah, because now the sister to my mom was like, no, this has to
And
come
these
to
people
an
you
end.
left, when you left their house, did they even try to look for you?
Yeah, my stepdad tried to look for me, but the sister to my mom told her no, because of the toxic relationship that we had with the sisters, the aunt. My dad didn't have any issue. His issues was just alcohol, but he never hated me or something. It was their sisters, the aunt, my aunts. Yes, but him, it was only the alcohol. So we were separated with my brothers, but every December I would go once in a while to check on them. But life was never the same even for them. It was tough for them even growing up. Sometimes I would go home and see them with torn clothes. I would really cry because it would break my heart. But I had to be strong because I knew I just had to survive for them also. Yeah. So now coming here, the sister to my mom was also married. She had a family. She was also taking care of another family. And it was not easy. I stayed there 2006 until around 2008. I did my class 8. It was post-election violence. So the mother to my mom, she's a Kikuyu. She lives in Nairobi. So during that time, post-election violence, she was displaced by the clashes and all that. So she was an IDP. So the sister to my mom, after I did my class 8, I didn't perform well. I think I got around 250 marks or something.
Yeah, that was not so bad. That was average.
Yeah, but it was really low. Comparing to when my mom was alive, I used to perform number 1. I was top 10. But life I just became.
I think you really tried, considering what you had gone through and the challenges. You really, really tried.
Yeah, so during that time, 2008, the sister to my mom suggested we come and see our grandmother now. So we came to Nairobi. When we came to Nairobi, my grandma was married to my grandfather, okay, who is a Nandi. But they had disputes, I think, so they separated around 1992. So she came to Nairobi and had other 3 children, my uncles. So when we came to Nairobi, one of the uncles suggested that I remain, then they look for a school for me here in Nairobi.
Also that you don't go back to Kapsabet with your aunt.
Yes. So my aunt went back alone. She left me here. At that time, my grandma was in Kasarani. And yeah, so this uncle of mine looked for a school here in Madare slums. I managed to join Form 1, that was 2009. And immediately I joined Form 1, that was the end. Nobody bothered how the school fees was going to be paid, because I remember I only paid the first term. Then when they send me back home for school fees, my uncle would say I don't have money.
So it was a day school where you'd commute every day from Kasarani to Madare?
And at that time I was staying with my uncle. The reason why I'm giving this testimony is because I want to show people there are so many things that happened between my family and I.
Yes.
I got rejected at the end of the day. I don't say this maybe to tarnish the name of anybody. I just want to give a testimony so that people may know that I healed and I've forgiven them and I've moved on,
like
and I don't have any bad
you want to show
intentions
them
with
that okay, despite what you put me through, I healed, my heart healed, and I let go. I'm holding nothing against you.
Yes.
That's really good.
Because they are still there. I know they are going to watch, but I don't have any bad intention with them. This is a testimony just to encourage people that it doesn't matter. And another thing, before I continue this testimony, is because it's very sensitive, the things that I'm going to touch on from going forward.
Yes.
I don't hate any of them. I really don't, and I've forgiven them, and also we can overcome. The Lord loves us, you know. The Lord has really brought me from far. So this is where now really I can say life started. I was exposed to many things during this time. If you allow me, I can still continue.
You can continue. Maybe now that you've gone to Form 1, your uncle who promised to pay school fees is not paying. And again, it's also tough for a young girl to be commuting from Kasarani to Mathare every day. And so, how was life like at that time?
So first of all, I was staying with my grandma, but after I got to join this school, it was called Mobrasta Academy. My uncle told me he was married, so he told me to come and stay with him in Mathare Area 4. So we were staying there near my school. I was studying in Mathare Area 1. So the wife was not first of all happy that I was there, but I could only manage, you know. She started being mistreating me, you know, because I don't know, maybe she didn't like the side of my uncle or something. But I stayed there, the work, everything.
She was giving you work in the house?
Yes, especially clothes. She couldn't do anything actually. I was the only one. Then even food was a bit problem because now she would cook food that I don't eat, like pork and all that. But I did manage. And things really became tough. Later on, after my grandma had stayed for some time, she came back because she has her own house in Mathare, Moradi. So she came back to her house. So I requested my grandma to agree to host me there because the situation here was a bit tough. Then she agreed for me to come and stay with her. So remind you, I'm in Form 1 that time. My uncle bought me uniform, books and everything. I joined. So the first time was okay. Then now later, I'm being sent home for school fees. My uncle was working he had a very good job. He had a very good job. So it gave me maybe around 300. When I go and pay in school, I'm paying years. They'll take the money and send me back again home. So life became really tough.
You didn't have time to settle down and
Yes.
study.
Yes. And then now, my grandma also started complaining a lot. I don't know, maybe she felt I was a burden to her. I had a really rough time. Sometimes she would complain I eat a lot or something. Now I'm in school, so I would request the school to allow me eat with them. To eat, I was a prefect. So it was a day school. It had a secondary and primary. And this school was, at least this school really helped me because it was a school that it was sponsored by one of the white men. And it also hosted children's home in Dome. Dome is in Karura. So that was the director of the school. So it reached a point they allowed me to eat lunch from school. This lunch was only provided for the children's home.
So there are children who are learning there?
Yes.
But they were also being hosted there?
Yes, by the director. So it was only for the children's home children, that food that was being cooked. So they allowed me to eat. So one day they will send me home. I told them nobody will come because sometimes they will want parents to come to school, but nobody was willing to come. And I remember a time we were told to call parents to come and help in the kitchen department so that they may deduct the school fees from there. But my grandma refused to come. So I remember a certain time I went to the kitchen and I cut cabbages. I don't know how many sack. It was
So
around
you are now what we call work study program. You do
Yes.
some work so that your fees is covered,
Yes,
and you're
yes,
just a child.
yes. And now even affording pads, nobody could even buy for me. So I would just choose clothes. It was really difficult.
That's tough.
And then now, that was the last time they got for me uniform. The first time and the last got for me uniform and the school shoes. It will get torn. I'll have to look for money in my own way. That time I would go and wash people's clothes to get money to pay my school fees. Then my grandma would complain, say, I'm going to see boyfriends, and I can promise you I was going to wash
was
people's
not true.
clothes. Yeah, it wasn't true. So life became really hard for me. At that time, even in school, I'm being sent away. I'm now looking, I can't go back home, nobody cares. And it's reached a point now I can't go back to have lunch at home. Before now, I was being allowed, I would stay at the balcony because it was a day school. Someone would come carrying chips, you smell that, and you can't afford.
So when it's lunchtime, other children go and buy food.
Yes, some go
Some.
home, but me, I would just stay there, stand there, or I stay at the balcony because I don't have food. I can't go home. I was just there. It reached a point it was so hard, and I could really hate studies because you can't study when you are going through a lot. You can't afford food, you can't afford
And you know,
school
also when
fees.
you go back home, it's also tough.
Yeah, it was tough.
And let me ask, do you think that your uncles and your grandmother could have afforded something and they held it back, or you just think they didn't really have a way to help you?
My grandma couldn't because she had a problem with her leg. She was not working, but my uncle was working with USAID at that time. He was able, he was very much able to afford the school fees, but they didn't want to help. I feel that way. So now it reached a point when I was in Form 2. The current principal, she was called Madam Jane Kimori. She decided to chip in with my school fees to pay for my school fees and lunch. So it was a bit, I felt good because now I could study.
At least now the problem of you is now removed.
Yeah, but then she was pregnant at that time. So when she went to give birth, when I was in second term, Form 2, she passed on and the baby remained. So again,
then now you
got
remained
stranded,
alone.
yes. So my life was difficult. And I remember I was exposed to many things at school. You're just trying to, I would meet people, I'm just desperate for anything, But I used to fear men, And then something happened. Form 2 now, I didn't study completely. From the second term, I was in and out because of the school fees. And the school fees was not much, around 5,000 per term, but I couldn't afford. Yes, the other remaining balance was being paid by this Wazungu, the missionaries.
Fees, part of the fee was being paid, but you needed to chip in some 5,000.
Yeah. So now it reached a point, 2011, I was in Form 3. My grandma sent me to one of my uncles to go and get some money for food in Kasara. I was in Form 3. When I arrived there, he was married, but now they had gotten divorced again after 3 months. So he had moved from one bedroom to a single room. So he had not arranged the things, yes. So my uncle tried to rape me. Said, Anastasia, I'm going to touch it. I told him what I am doing. He said, don't worry. It really tried. And it was really tough.
So your grandma sent you to his house And then now you wanted to take advantage of you.
Yeah, he managed to kiss me. And because I used to watch movies, I
You hit him.
yes, and then he managed to leave me. But he was really going to do it. He was determined, and I thank God I managed to do that. I opened the door and I ran. But at that time, Kasarani was a bit. It was not like the way now it has been built. Houses was
Scattered.
Yes. So now I ran, but he managed to find me because
He started following you again?
Yes, he followed me. Because also I didn't have fare, I was waiting for him to help me, and I was still new in that place. So he followed me and gave me 2,000, and he told me, go home and don't tell anybody. If you try, you will see what will happen. So he threatened me. But that was not the first case, because there was a time when I was staying with my grandma. I used to tell him, when he will tell me to go and wash clothes for him, he will still touch me. And when I tell my grandma, I would refuse.
Your grandma will not believe you?
Yes, nobody believed me. So now when this happened, I couldn't come and tell her. It was on a Sunday. So I came home, I gave her the money, but I didn't tell her. But I was worried now about my life. I knew my life was in danger. Nobody believes me. And at that time, my grandma was saying I'm rebellious. She had even poisoned my mom, the aunt, the sister to my mom. I call her mom because they were only two sisters. Yeah, so she poisoned her. Nobody believed me totally. I was alone now. So when I came back, I was scared, and
So when you have a difficult situation, you don't even know what to tell?
yes, I used to cry or write. I used to write. There is a book I had written when my life took a turn, and my uncle found that book. He burned it. So now, when I came back on Sunday, I'm crying. I was crying at night, but I was very careful not to fall, so that she may not hear me. Yes. I used to sleep on the floor. She would sleep in the bed. It was just a single room in Madari. So that was on Monday. I went to school. I cried, and I remember again I tried suicide. I was at the balcony near the toilet. I wanted to throw myself. I was crying. That time I was an head girl. So the children went to the principal, the current principal by then, went to tell the head girl is crying at the balcony. So he called me to the office. He asked me. I was a bit hesitant to tell him, but I managed to tell him what happened. So instead of handling it correctly, he called the uncle who brought me to school. So the uncle came. He told him that we were going to sort it at home. Then they told me to go home. So we went. My uncle, they called that other uncle who tried doing that, and another uncle of mine called Debbie. So they came. But now they were talking in Kikuyu. I couldn't understand what they were saying. So after that, I remember they had cooked ugali and beef, and they ate. But me, I was just crying there. And this uncle refused.
So this uncle
Yes.
called the other so that we can solve this thing?
Yes.
Yes.
But they talked in a different language, so I can't understand. But I know he refused. He said he didn't do it. So they believed him. So now we slept that night. My grandma told me I'm a bad person. I've spoiled the name of his son.
So he was just taking the side of the son.
Yes.
She was not concerned about you.
Yeah. So we slept. 5 in the morning, I woke up. My grandmother was already up. So I thought she wanted to pray. But she took all my clothes and threw them outside and told me to get out of her house.
Your grandmother threw you out, and you are just a young girl. You know it's tough for a young girl, especially when you don't have parents. You don't have able to stand up for you. It's the grandmother that is expected that should at least try to help you. Should like be your second mother. She's like your mother now.
So I asked her, why? Where am I going?
At this time you're in Form 3?
Yes. And I'm paying my school fees. So I went and asked one of the neighbors to help me take care of my bag. So I go to school to ask for permission to look for a place. So I gave her the bags. The neighbor agreed to take care of my bags. I went to school. I asked for permission. I told them I've been sent away by my grandma. So I took a phone. He called my uncle, and I asked him what you talked yesterday. My grandma sent me out. He told me go and stay with Uncle Debbie, who was staying at near Horuma. So I came again. I took my bags, went to stay with my uncle. But now they started torturing me, will beat me, and I wash utensils. Maybe I forget something. He will beat me with belt all the time. They will really torture me with canes all the time. When I came back from school late, they'll say I'm coming from boyfriend's house. So one day at school, there is a white man who came from USA, gave us cameras. I was in journalism club, so I became the best. So at that time there was floods in Madara. I took the best photos, houses being taken. I was telling a story through a photograph. So this Mzungu person took us to United Nations Gigiri, UN Habitat. They saw our photos. We were introduced to a certain guy called Julius Moil. He is a journalist, United Nations journalist. He had a foundation near Moyabes. So I was introduced to him. And now he took us
into his house.
Into his foundation, whereby we would be trained photography, so that we'll get something. The purpose was to support children in the slums, so that they may not get lost in sexual sin and drugs. So I joined the foundation. So now every Saturday we'd go take photos. We're being trained. Then we would go for meetings every Saturday. So one day I was really late. We were told after the meeting we would clean the office. So I came back home late. My uncle beat me and beat me and beat me. And at some point I thought I would die.
Did he try to ask you why you came late?
I told him, but he didn't believe me. He told me I'm coming from a boyfriend's house, and I was with our daughter. I told her, even ask your daughter. The daughter was around 5 years. The daughter told her, but she didn't believe me. He didn't believe me. So I thought I would die. So at some point now, when you beat a cat and he doesn't have a place to, he'll have to defend himself. So I remember holding him. I hold him like this because I knew the house was the slums houses. He was standing at the door. I pushed him in the seat and I managed to run away at around 9 p.m. That time Dar es Salaam was very bad. If people find you at night, they will rape you. But I thought that was the only way. If they are going to rape me and kill me, it was better than suffering here. So I ran away at night. I don't know where to go. I don't have anyone. So I was injured.
Did your uncle have a wife?
Yes.
Did she try to help you as a girl child, like she's a lady, she can understand what girls go through?
Actually, the wife was pregnant, and I tell you, the woman of pregnancy really hated me so much. She was there when I was being beaten. So when I went at night, I'm stranded at night, I knew these people will catch me and rape me and throw me in the river. There is a river there. So I was just crying on the street, and I'm going, but I don't know where I'm going. So I met 3 men. They were loose. So they were talking and told me what happened. I was really injured. I was in pain. They had beaten me with belt. I told them, I don't know, I'm going. Let them take me to a certain friend of mine in Madar Area 1, because that time Area 1 was very bad also, Riverside. The thieves were many, and they would even cut you with the knives or kill you, So they took me to that lady house.
Oh, they were good people.
Yeah, they were good. It was only the Lord who put them there, because I don't know what would have happened. So I went. I arrived there. I told them what had happened. They agreed to host me that night. I didn't go to school. Remember, now I'm not going to school. So when she hosted me, they told me to stay for 1 week as I look for a place. So I had to go back again to get my things, my uniform and the books. Then I stayed with them. And that lady was really, she was really mad at my family. She even took me to the chief, but I told the chief, no, I'm not going back there. They're going to kill me. I told them, let them give me my belongings too. Then I'll figure out. Then my uncle disowned me that time. They told me they don't want ever to hear from me. That I should never call them uncles again in front of the chief. I told them, the chief, you see, even they cannot own the mistakes. So they left me there. So I stayed in this house for 1 week. After 1 week, they told me, now you can go. So again, I'm stranded.
You don't know where you're going.
So I went to school. I talked to one of the students. She went and talked with her mother. She agreed to host me. After a week, again, they were tired of me.
Yeah, I can try to imagine. They may receive you, but after some time, life is also tough on them, and now they think they cannot continue staying with you.
So, yeah, it was tough for people to host you, So one time, remember when I went to UN, there was this Ethiopian lady I met. She was a good friend of mine. So I called her. She agreed to host me at South Sea. So I stayed in South Sea. This man.
So at this time you've not finished school. Now you have to at least put school aside again.
Yeah. In fact, they used to push me just to finish school because I would not perform well. Especially 2011, I didn't. I remember even chemistry subject and biology, I was really blank because most of the time I'm out looking for school fees. I didn't read.
And then the trauma you're going through at home, the hardship.
Now you're looking for shelter, you're looking for food, you're looking for school fees. It was hard to balance you. But it was only the Lord. So now this person agrees to host me. So this man was a KDF, their wife was an Ethiopian. So one day, this man had disputes with the wife. The wife had left for Ethiopia. They left us with their wife, their child, and the son and the house girl. So, it's a mansion. Everybody has their bedroom and all that. So one day this guy comes to my room at around 3, 4. He left me till around 5 in the morning. And he covered me. I couldn't scream. I couldn't do anything. I know you are asleep. I did that thing. And the first thing I could feel was pain, extreme pain. I went to take a shower, but nothing could wash away everything. So now in my mind, this guy was a KDF. I knew he'd kill me too.
Yeah, you're also a minor at that time. You don't know what to do, and then it's a grown up and they're in his house.
I was really bitter with my family because I was saying, if they hadn't chased me away, I wouldn't have gone through this. I wouldn't be raped. If they had only protected me, I wouldn't have gone through. So I decided to run away at that around 5. But the guy was waiting for me at the stairs. He gave me a small medicine here and told me to take, it was the pill to prevent pregnancy. He knew what he was doing because during that night he was taking peanuts all the night. He was taking them for me probably. So I took the pill. I told him I want to go, and he told me it's okay. And at that time I only had 150 shillings. I didn't know, so I took a matatu from South Sea to town, and I'm now stranded. I was seated there near Ambassador. stage, and I was crying. Everybody's just looking at me. I'm in pain.
You feel you're alone in the world.
Yeah, I was alone. And now in my mind, I was saying, let me go to my aunt. I said to my mom, even if she refuses, I know she can just host me. But I didn't have transport to go home.
Back in Kapsabit.
I was stranded there, I don't know how long. And I remember I borrowed somebody's phone. But I had a phone, I had a Motorola phone. I called one of the trainers who used to train us photography at Milo. She was called Zeltia Gonzalez Blanco. She was Spanish. I called her, she was staying in Rwanda. I told her I'm stranded and I was crying, but I didn't tell her I was raped because there is shame, there is when you're raped.
The stigma.
So they came with their husband and they thought I was hungry. They bought me chicken and chips with their fries, but I couldn't eat. I was just crying and they failed to understand why, but me, I was just in pain.
Yes, yeah.
So when they came, she gave me 2,000. I told her I want to go home. She told me no, you must finish school. So she told me to book an hotel. Then tomorrow we'll see what we can do. And she told me, if you find someone who can host you, call us. And then they left. So I remember Lazarus Inn Hotel there near Ambassador. I took an hotel. It was 600 shillings. I paid. But at night I couldn't sleep. I could only watch the door because down on it was a club. So I knew people might come again and rape me. But around 8 I went and take breakfast. I called the chef. He was called Robert. And from my school. Told her I'm stranded, I'm looking for somewhere to stay. He told me to come, we meet at Monetary Studies, Thika Road. So I went and meet him. He went and introduced me to a certain woman in Uruma. They were living still in slums, but they agreed to host me. So I called the lady, the white lady. I told her I found a place. She came and saw the place. She told me it's not a good, but just stay here so that you can just finish school. Also, she was pregnant. So she agreed to pay 500 per week so that this family will not get tired of me. So I stayed there, and this family was not well off. They were just struggling now. The woman was working in Italy, washing people's clothes. The husband was working in the industrial area. And in the evening, we'll go and sell samosas at the road until around 11 p.m.
When you leave school,
busy. Yeah. So
you come now to help them in business.
So we did that until I finished my Form 4. That was November 2012. They told them I can't stay here, I need to look for another job. After Form 4, I went to work in Kawa West as a house girl for 3 months. That time my brother now was in class 8. He had performed well to 383. I went back home. I bought him set books and school uniform and school shoes. Then I came back to Nairobi. You
felt good that at least your brother has passed the exam. Now, within your means, you felt like you also needed to do something.
Actually, my dad had refused. His dad had refused to take him to high school. So I went and took him to the chief. I told him I was not his daughter. They refused to pay for my fee. Now he's his son. Why not? So they had to sell land, a piece of land. Then we paid school fees the whole year. So I managed to chip in with the school uniform, set books and shoes. Because when I was working, I was earning 6,000 per month. So I told my boss, because I'm not eating outside, give me this money after 3 months. So she gave me 18,000. Yeah. So I went home.
And the first thing you thought was to help your brother.
Yeah, they were my brothers, you know.
Then that is selflessness, because you had suffered so much and no family was standing up for you.
Yeah.
But the minute you got something, you only thought of your brother.
Exactly. In fact, that I'm grateful because I got a D plain. I thought I'd get an E. considering my case.
But
and
that's good.
situation.
Even the perseverance to finish school, that was great.
Yeah, it was. I was determined to finish school. I wanted even to do. I wanted to be a journalist after these cases, but I didn't manage to get somebody to take me to college. But I was really determined. When I was young, I wanted to be a neurosurgeon, but now the performance and all that made me want to go for journalism. So now coming back, after I went back home, I couldn't go back and work as a house girl again. So I came to Nairobi. I'm stranded again. I don't have a place to stay. So I remember I called this guy who my aunt used to do deliveries to my grandma. I called him and I told him I'm coming to Nairobi and I don't have a place to stay. So this guy tells me I'm in Kikomba. He was selling me tumba clothes. So he told me I'm heading to Kapsabet. You go stay in my place. After 1 week, sort yourself out. So he directed me to the house where the keys was. Yeah. So now I was staying in Kariobangi South. But now I don't have food in the house. I cannot again ask him for food. So I remember I stayed 3 days without food in that house. And I told myself I'll die here. I need to go and get out and look for something. So I walked literally from Kariobangi South to town. National Theatre. There was exhibitions being done there. I arrived there at around 12. I was late actually because they had auditioned a lot of people. So I was the last batch. So I got a space at around 6 p.m. They were almost done.
Oh, so you reached at 12 and then you had a lot of people ahead
Yeah,
of you.
there was a lot of queue, yeah. So now I waited. I'm just hoping to get a chance because I really needed a job. I was hungry. And I stayed there, and I'm supposed to go back again on foot. So I stayed at around 6 p.m. They called us in. We were 3 remaining people. They auditioned us. They became the best. Actually, I took the Group A, G4 production. So we used to act set books, and they told us to start tomorrow, going for practice in Kariako Social Hall. So I would go daily on foot. But at least they used to provide lunch. Yeah. So I would eat that food will carry me till tomorrow again. Then one day I talked to this lady and I told her I'm looking for a place because this guy is almost coming back now. So she agreed to host me in Kaloleni, Thika. So she hosted me, but now transport was a problem. But she was working as a barber, so she would cater for my transport until we finished for the training. So we went now. We were acting set books. Went for different schools. I would get something now. Later, we came back. Schools were closed. We came back. I asked somebody to host me in Anastasia because now it was nearer. So they agreed to host me. So I'm still hustling. And one day, this guy moves out without informing me. He called me after he had moved out. So I was stranded again. I didn't have a place to stay. So I'm coming. I'm only finding only my clothes.
The house has been vacated.
Yes.
So somebody hosted you, and then one day when you are out, they move out of the house and leave you there, leave your things there.
Yes. So that time I met the father of my son at the production, the for production. So I called him because to tell you the truth, I was desperate and.
You want a place where you can at least stay
Yeah.
and call a home.
Actually, I wanted just to get married to run away from my problems. I'm thinking that could be a solution. I can get a place to stay. So I'm calling him. I informed him that stranded. I don't have a place to. Then he came and looked at the house. He told me we'll pay the rent. So even the caretaker almost locked me inside. I told him, no, kuna mtu, you know.
Oh, he thought the
Yeah.
owner of the house had left and so there was nobody
But I was
inside.
sleeping on the floor. Now I'm
Oh.
figuring out what to do. So I paid the rent. The good thing, this guy had not taken his deposit. So I only paid the rent and stayed. I started there. It was a bedsitter house. So this man, I'm meeting him. He shows interest. So I'm thinking maybe he's the guy. Because at this moment, I really want to settle.
You want
And I
at
was
least
21
somebody who
years
can
old.
hold your hand,
Yes.
maybe somebody you can call family.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was 21 years old at that moment. I had just finished my Form 4. But this guy was a family man.
Oh.
He had a wife. I think the firstborn at that time was in Form 2. But
So he was also your senior.
He was older than me by around 20 years or 18 years.
Hmm.
Because I was 21, the guy was around 38 or 40 years. But me, I was thinking somebody who is older is a bit mature, can help me.
And can also understand.
Yes.
Can also maybe take care of you.
So the first encounter with this guy, and then I got pregnant. And I found out, I think it was a month. I found out I'm pregnant, so I'm calling him to let him know. The guy worked out on me till date. Yes. So at some point, yes, he worked out on me after I informed him I was pregnant. So now I'm stranded. I can't continue acting because the roles that you play cannot showcase you're a pregnant person. With a man that has refused the pregnancy and he's your boss, you know. So I lost my job. I'm now again back to square zero.
And now you are also expecting.
Yeah, I'm also expecting. And so at some point I wanted to terminate the pregnancy. So I remember I'd heard people say you boil tea leaves and all that. So I boiled tea leaves in my sufuria, and the smell alone was hell, man. So I told myself, no. What if I drink and then I bleed and I die?
And then you die.
So that thing kept to. I had heard a story of hell existing, but I knew if I die I was going to hell. So that prevented me. I think the Lord now was starting to. It was Kumbe was there. If you heard the song of Jimmy Swaggart saying he was there all the time,
Yes.
the Lord was there in all this journey, you know. And even when I was in high school, there is this guy who introduced me to links and porn. I would watch them like to just divert my attention. I was so addicted watching them. So now I'm coming. I'm here. How God works, let me tell you. I was not born again totally. Remember I told you I came from a family, a Catholic family. I never used to go to any church at that moment. I was just a pagan, I can say. I was just... So now, that was 2015, I realized that I've gotten pregnant. Now I had to take care of this child. So I called a friend of mine who I met when I was working as a house girl. She was called Pascaline. I told her I want to do this. She told me don't do it. Don't hate it. She agreed to pay my rent. Imagine she used to send me 8,000 every month for a year. Because she was staying with a relative, she was working so hard, she didn't have responsibilities. And also she was at a national hospital, counseling department, I think. So she would pay, that was the Lord. I can see today that it was the Lord.
You know, people say children are a blessing.
Yeah, true.
You know, now when you are now carrying a child, now God started opening ways for even to help you.
Yes. So I got pregnant. Then I got another job in a supermarket near my place. That time I was being paid $250 per day.
But
And
something you could manage with pregnancy.
But it reached a point now I couldn't lift heavy things. I'm heavily pregnant. I'm 21 years old, and I remember.
And you're all alone.
Yes, I'm all alone. So now.
So when you leave maybe that workplace, you go back to the house, you're all by yourself.
Yes.
Did you ever think that in case of anything or emergency would help me?
You know, I never used to think of anything.
You
In
just
fact, leave alone that. Even by the time I'm going to give birth, I didn't have clothes for the baby because this money was not enough even for my own food.
and other things.
I didn't know a lot of things that you need to buy clothes. I think I'd only bought a small blanket. So then I met this guy who loved me when I was 6 months pregnant. And I told him no, I was heartbroken, you know. This guy, he was a small guy, just interested with me. But I refused and he waited. We never had any relationship because now it couldn't work. But the Lord used that man because when I got into labor, it was around 3 a.m. I called him and he took me to the hospital.
Why?
And he was the one who bought the first clothes because there was no clothes to even cover the baby. I didn't know a lot of things for sure.
I think God may have just brought him into your life to play that role.
So I'm there. I went to give birth, CS through CS.
You had a
Had
CS.
complications, yes.
Why?
They told me jam to try funguke and then my pelvis was small. Also the baby was tired. You know, there was so many complications. I remember, where is your family sign here? I told them I'm alone.
So sinful.
I signed myself. So I didn't know even what I was signing for. Because now it was 24 hours after labor. I'm alone. I signed and then they took me inside the theater. And I remember them asking, unaenda theater kwa nini? They're telling me to repeat.
Oh, yeah, when they are put you on
Yes.
Anastasia,
Repeat what you...
and they now want you to, as you sleep.
Yes. No, before that. They want you to, kwa nini mtoto amechoka, complications. You repeat so that it will not be their fault in case of anything. So they told me, you're going to theater because your pelvis is small, the baby is tired. And then they're telling me, unaenda theater kwa nini? And I'm repeating what they've said. Then I arrived at the theater, they induced the medicine, my backbone, then the process took around 1 hour 30 minutes. Then the baby was out. Then we were taken to the ward. My friend, that was hell. You're alone, no food, no nothing, nobody to visit you. We used to depend totally on hospital.
You don't know where you're going to get money for the hospital bill.
Yes, even rent.
Now you're going back home with the baby, you don't know even who is going to work to bring you food.
You know, this guy Kumbe, he had put me in his NHIF. So it paid for me.
Wow.
It really shocked me so much because I don't know what would have done.
You know, some people are God sent.
Yes, because
sometimes we block people, but God sometimes brings somebody your way because He has a purpose in your life.
Yeah, so I gave birth in Shalom Hospital, Kitengela. We stayed there for 3 days. Food was totally from the hospital. Now coming back, I'm trying again to go to the father of my son. We will chip in maybe with transport or something. I'm telling him I've given birth. He told me I don't have money. The guy was well off. Actually, he had Prado, he had...
Really?
He has lands even in Kitengela, you know. He was living at Kangundo, sorry, by then.
So he just did this thing deliberately.
Kumbe, it was not the first time. That was his work. He impregnate girls.
And the ones they are working.
So for me, it was not the first case.
Really?
So now he came back. I remember I bought a matatu.
From the hospital?
Time, yes.
After CS?
Yes. At that time, Mulolongo Road, it was not repaired like nowadays. It was rough. So it would shake me. I would feel like my wound will burst. And I was staying in 6th floor house.
And you're alone?
I'm alone.
With the baby?
With the baby. I have the basins, I have the bags. I'm carrying the baby till
I think that's the most difficult thing that a lady can go through.
Yeah. So I carried the baby. We went. Arriving the house, my friend, no food. I only had 600 shillings. I need to buy pampers. I need to buy food. But what the Lord can do. people would come with food. We were eating like birds, of the,
Oh, you depend on God
yeah,
to send somebody to come and bring food. If somebody doesn't come, no food.
no food. I was not even depending on God because I was
You
not
didn't
born
even know
again.
God.
So we were just waiting.
Mm.
It was too. And now the agent, one of the lady came from the agency, the house, the landlord. It was dealing with agencies. So this lady comes, where is the baby? Give me the baby. I give her the baby, and then she put 1,000. It was a miracle. It was a miracle.
Salimia mtoto.
Yes, pesa kusalimia. Leta mtoto, and then ameweka 1,000. That was a miracle, and 1,000 by then it was a lot. I went and bought food. I sent somebody to buy for me food and pampers. It was really tough.
And in all that, did you at one point think that maybe you can call people or start begging people even in the apartment where you are living?
No, I
You
never.
did think of even calling the next neighbor, looking for pity?
Remember that life had taught me tough things, so I used to depend totally on the Lord, And I stayed for 3 months with the baby. Then I decided to go work. So I introduced him to porridge early. When he was around 2 months, I started giving him porridge. Yes, because I wanted to go and work. So I found a job at Jongo Road. It was a hotel job. And you see, I would wake up by 5 I'm gone.
With
I'm
a
coming.
2-month-old baby?
Yes. By 10, I'm arriving around 10 p.m.
That you've not even healed.
Yes. I got complication because after 3 days when we were discharged, there was no water. And I would go carry water from ground floor to 6th floor. Till now, I still have complications, of course.
With your back?
Yes, my back and the wound itself. Sometimes I can't move my leg. There are so many complications. But at that moment, we were just trying to survive, Because now I've given birth to this child, the rent. There was a time this baby now started getting sick again. He was on oxygen machine all the time. After every 1 week, after every 3 months, they exposed him to cold
When you took him to daycare?
No, when I gave birth. I don't know if they covered him immediately. So he had pneumonia. And all the time he would go for oxygen and oxygen all the time. So we were in and out of the hospital.
And now then you need money for the
I remember we were in the hospital and when we came back, the door was locked.
The landlord?
Yes, the door had been locked. So we are going to a certain neighbor I was hosted by this neighbor while I look for money. Imagine.
This neighbor accepted to host you with a baby?
Yes, but only for a day. But the Lord will do a miracle. By around 6, I've gotten the money again. I paid. It was a struggle. We were locked out many times. My family didn't even know where I was. Since that time when they chased me out of the house, till that time, I was alone. And I was bitter with my family, I can tell you for sure. For many years, I never went back since 2011 until 2018. They used to call me, I did tell you, when I was in high school after that case with my uncles, they came back again to school and told the school to remove me from that school. They want me to go home. The school refused, told them, you cannot remove this girl and she's paying her school fees. This is my uncle who took me to school.
And they are not even hosting you,
yes.
They're not even taking care of you.
He went back to Mwelu Foundation and told Mwelu that I'm a prostitute. Mwelu told them, they wanted me to be chased everywhere.
They wanted to spoil everything for you.
So when I went back for a meeting, Julius tells me, your uncles were here. I told them what? But they told me you're a prostitute. So are you going to chase me? I said, no, I wonder how stupid your uncles are. That is what he told me. So they really did everything to press me down, to bring me down, So I was really bitter. And I remember when they used to call me and ask me where you are, I told them I'm at Koinange Street, where prostitutes are, because that's what they used to refer me as, So I was really bitter. Even when I gave birth, they never knew I had a child. Until when my son was around 3 years. I I'll tell you how now. So we were struggle. I went to a hotel. My son, grow, you know. Now 2016, I got sick again. Had a thyroid. And this thyroid was grown inside. So I couldn't breathe well, I couldn't eat. So if I swallow things, you could see something moving like the Adam's apple for men. So I'm now sick, and I remember now calling my stepfather. I told them I'm dying like my mom because some of the hospital told me they're suspecting it is cancer. So I told my dad I'm dying like my mom. He told me come back home. So I went back home. They took me to another hospital in Kapsowar. It's in Elgeyo Marakwet. It was a missionary hospital. So they sent me to MTRH, my teachings and referral hospital. They took an ultrasound and it had a tumor. So they booked a surgery for me. I underwent a 12-hour surgery. So my son was 8 months old.
At that time?
Yes, I'm forced to stop breastfeeding him forever because now after theater you stay for long because of that medicine.
So you are under anesthesia for 12 hours?
12 hours, from 8 to 8. That is when I woke up. From 8 in the morning to 8 in the evening. That surgery was major surgery. And at some point I think even my family knew I was not going to survive. So I came back. My son, I left him with this stranger in Nairobi. Because there is a time when we were going
You
for
left
checkup.
the child as you were going?
Yes, with a total stranger, a man actually.
Boy.
Because that was the guy now, the one who paid. Because he was the only person who could understand him. I tried taking him home. They started mistreating him. In fact, they took him to the shamba and the tractor was plugging, I don't know. So the ice was swelling. He almost fell into the river. So I was told no. So I decided no, nobody cared actually. So I brought him to Nairobi. I went for a surgery. After I woke up, I told the doctor I want to go back home. He told me no after 3 days. You know, I took Sprite and I felt a lot of pain because now I want to get healed very fast.
So you can go and check on the
By
baby.
tomorrow I was feeling better. I told the doctor, can you let me know what? He was called Dr. Rhodes. He was he came from USA. He told me your progress is really well. You can now go home, but come for checkup after a month. So I was released.
But at least you got relieved there was no cancer.
No, they didn't give me the results immediately. They told me they're going to take the samples to Mbagathi. So after 1 month now I'll come and check for the results after I come for checkup. So we went back home. We arrived at home. We went like today, tomorrow we were at home because we slept in Wasingishu, then traveled to my home. After that, the next day I was on the bus coming to Nairobi because of my son. I'm not healed, I'm still having a bandage here. Arriving Nairobi, my house again is locked. I had to borrow some people money, pay. It was really tough. I tell you, my life has just been... I don't remember the last time I enjoyed my childhood. I don't remember the last time I enjoyed my youth or my teenage. You know, I don't. I had to become a parent at a younger age. I had to become a parent to my son now, and I'm alone, you know. All this while, till late, you know. I've known pain and rejection. That is all I've known. So I've been toughened by the situations. So after that, I got another job with Insco Kenya. It's the Pizza Inn, Chicken Inn. It belongs to Insco Kenya. So I was working at the shop. From there, I was really working while I was a cashier. From there, I got there's this Mundi guy. I used to serve him cappuccino every morning. He took me again, he poached me from there. I worked for him as a reception at industrial areas, an office admin. I remember I've not gone to any college, it was the Lord. So now I've experienced, but I don't have purpose. Later I got another job at Airtel Kenya. I was working as a customer care. That was 20, before Airtel now, let me come. So 2018 comes, how I got born again. So 2018, around March, I had gone through a lot, okay? I'd met different men because you're just there to serve, you understand? I committed all sort of sin, okay? I was not holy because life exposed me to many things. Because even what made me really feel sad was because of the father of my son had a family, so I felt guilty that he was a married man. Had he told me, I wouldn't have gotten involved with him. He was not truthful from the beginning because he told me he was married but they divorced or something. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe because of the experience, this guy is ready to settle. So now 2018 comes. It was March, 31st March, it was on a Saturday. There was a meeting in Nakuru. I don't know if it was Menengai 2, Menengai 1 or something. I'm not sure. So, the sister to my mom had joined me. She was 3 months old in the ministry. So I remember she called me and told me, can you watch NTV? I told her it's well. So I tuned into NTV. There was a meeting in Nakuru. And I remember that time the stairs were lowered, okay, and so the mightiest prophets of the Lord, at that time I didn't know he was called mightiest prophet, he was a prophet of the Lord, said, the time for the Gentile is through rapture. And he was teaching about the Enoch representing rapture and Noah representing the ark.
The people will go through tribulation.
Yes. So he told the church, there is no time for it. It is through the rapture. You will not manage after this rapture. He preached and preached. That message really caught me. And then, at that time, my grandma had called me. She told me, you want me to die so that you can come. And I remember I used to tell her, even if I die, don't come to my burial.
Yeah, because
even,
of
I
what
was
they
bitter.
had put you through. So she wanted you to visit her, right?
Yes. And I let him to Salim. I came and told her, okay, I'll come. So that Saturday I was to go. So after I've watched, something told me to go and visit her. So I went and saw her for the first time. And I remember I bought some shopping and took it to her. But now she's telling me her problems, but I'm telling her, can you listen to this message? I felt like it was so urgent for me. And even when I was in Matata, I'm looking and I'm saying, if rapture happens, what happens? How many people are going to
all
go
these
to
people walking yes. about this message.
Yes. But my grandma couldn't understand. So we came back at around 6 p.m. We arrived, we had eaten food. I remember I took my Bible. It was called Good News Bible, the orangish Bible. I took it. And the Lord just gave me scriptures immediately. I opened. The first book I opened was Jeremiah 30 verse 4, I think, where it says, women should not wear bracelets, the earrings and all that. I went again to 2 Timothy
You're
chapter.
just opening randomly and you're finding this verses.
Yes. 2 Timothy 9 says women should not braid their hair and all these things. I'm getting those scriptures. Until date, I cannot forget those scriptures. They are there. Jeremiah 4:30. 2 Timothy, I can open. I still have those scriptures here. And then I'm reading Revelation. For the first time, I'm understanding the Bible. Remember I was born in Catholic. But now it is coming straight to me. After that, I put my Bible aside. And I don't know, at some point my son was asleep. He was around 2 years. I was taken away by the sleep. I think I slept on the chair. And then I had a dream. Rapture was happening and I was being left behind. You know the Maimai Road? The Maimai, when you're going to Nakuru. There are the canteens, there are the Maasai canteens.
Yes,
then
where you can see down.
Yes.
You are on top of the ridge there, then you can see the valley down.
Yes, so in that dream I was there. And then there is that mountain there. It's Menengai Mountain, I think. It has a crater something on top. There is opposite too. There is a mlima there. The mountain. So that mountain erupted. There was a volcanic eruption there. In that dream.
In the dream?
Yes. And I was standing here. And I could see the magma came from, and you know the way it is a valley. It came until where I was. And people were running. And I could see Jesus flying here. And he's picking people. But me, when I stretch my hand, he would leave me. And I'm also fearing to burn from this magma.
The magma is coming.
Then I woke up. Immediately I knew rapture had taken place. I started crying, literally. I knew rapture had taken place. I lived in it. So I'm asking the Lord, what made you leave me? Is this hair? I had human hair. It was 3 months old. It was 3 days old. Very mpya kabisa. I paid around 5,000 for the human hair. I used to put weave totally. So I told the Lord, what made you leave me? I knew it had happened. I was left behind. In that dream, I lived it like it had happened. Amani, I had drawn the eyelashes, you know, those things. I started cutting my hair at night alone. So you know, when you
suddenly realized that human hair was not valuable.
I felt that immediately after that dream. Actually, I felt that even water could not wash me, and I didn't know what I wanted to do or what was supposed to be done. So I remember it was this hair, Lord, I'm going to remove it so that you may find me the way you created me. I'm sorry, God. Please come back for me. And I'm cutting with my razor blade. And you know, they normally, there are lines. I destroyed the lines on this side. Left side of my hair was shorter than this side because there are lines. So I cut my hair mistakenly, okay, by mistake. So I cut my hair, I removed and I combed my hair. I washed it actually. I'm feeling dirty. I'm taking a shower. I'm washing my face, I'm washing my eyebrows. I could see I was like an aura because I'm used to drawing the pencil and all that. This was around now 12 midnight. I took my phone and called the sister, my aunt. I told her, do you know rapture has happened? She told me, no, we are in the meeting. I told them, maybe even you guys are the one who are left. Yes. They told me, no, the worship is continuing. You can even hear. But I doubted.
Because you lived through the
Yes. And even her, she was telling me, I've seen the rings in the sky. She was seeing visions also. No, I don't know if it's called vision or dreams.
Yes, vision.
So I'm telling her, you see, the rapture has happened. Niambia no hapana, haijafanyika. Bado meeting yuko. Nikamwambia labda nyewe ndio umeachwa. So I'm now worried. And I'm telling the Lord what made you. So I was a fan of Manchester United. I had even a jersey. So I told the Lord, okay, is this the case? I had mini skirts.
So let's look at this now.
Yes.
You've just watched the mightiest prophets of the Lord preaching.
Yes, certainly.
Nobody has opened for you scriptures, tell you this thing is wrong.
Nothing.
But you're having a deep conviction in your heart. You know, could it be because I'm a fan of Manchester United?
Yes.
Could it be the jersey I'm keeping in the house?
Yes.
Could it be the human hair I'm putting on my hair?
Yes.
And you are removing them one by one?
I'm removing them. I'm telling you, immediately I felt dirty. So even the chain that I had, needing more to evil. Like I'm feeling like it's burning me.
Like, so you know, God opened your eyes so you could know every sin without somebody pointing it out to you.
I did realize by then that I was open, my eyes were open, but now I was wondering what was happening with me. Because I felt like the Lord wanted me naturally as He created me. And now it is because of this human hair. Nobody told me. So nimetupa hiyo, nikaeka takataka, that human hair.
You did hear this thing is expensive.
Now I'm coming there. So now I took the jersey. I throw them away. Miniskirt. I told the Lord, okay, if it is the miniskirts, I'm leaving them. So I remained with 2 clothes. And I told the Lord, now, I've thrown all my clothes. I only have 2. Kwanza leo nivalishe. That is what I told the Lord. I'm alone in the house, around 4 now. Going morning. Kwanza leo nivalishe. Can you imagine? Out of now, I've thrown all my clothes. Miniskirt. I used to wear miniskirts very badly, and heels. Nilitasa wanaume sitakudanganya. So I'm throwing these things at night. And mind you, there is this guy from Kapsabet Boys. He was a teacher, and he had proposed that we get married. But I think the fear of the Lord had come. That Sunday that we were supposed to wake up now to this Sunday, I told him I'll go and look for a church. There was a church called Helicopter in Kware or something. So I told him I'll talk to that pastor to pray for us the ring so that I may know when I'm married. Because now I was fearing, once bitten, twice shy.
You didn't want to go into a relationship without proper...
Yes, so that Sunday, that this miracle happened, this encounter happening with me, that Sunday I was supposed to go and talk to the pastor. So now this night at around 4, for the first time in my life, Nilikesha, I never. So because I'm fearing why the Lord left me, you know, why? I'm asking why. And I'm feeling tired, not tired, I'm feeling dirty. So I've thrown these things, but nothing can still wash. I'm trying to pray, I don't know how to pray. I was a Catholic, we knew Maria and all that thing. So I can't pray, I'm praying, Lord, please come back for me, please help me. I don't know how to pray again. Then at around 4 a.m., then I was asleep. The sleep took me away. Kalala kabisa. Usingizi kanichukua. And I woke up at what time? Around 1:12.
Oh, so you slept through the morning?
Yes.
And
I'm
the
supposed
baby
to
did not
go.
wake up?
The baby was still asleep.
Wow.
And I'm supposed to go talk to that pastor, remember? So when I woke up, nimechelewa kwenda that kanisa kutafuta that church. So I called the guy and I told him, hi, I'm not getting married to you anymore. I'm born again. I needed to Kana.
You did, like you also had a conviction. You know, in church we are told you have to take your marriage before the Lord. Okay? But you at the onset you felt that this relationship I'm getting into is not right before the Lord.
Yes, in fact, I felt like this guy will take me to hell. I don't know. I felt like everything was dirty in this case, but I couldn't tell it was the Lord helping me. Now that you put it that way, yes. But now at that moment, you see me, I'm just seeing like this guy will make me.
You wanted like a total transformation.
Yes, and I feel like this guy can drag me and might not understand. So I wanted to leave everything and just look for the Lord. So now, this was Sunday. After I told him, he really threw insults.
You know now, when
bitter.
you look back, do you think he truly loved you? Because if he had loved you and you've received Jesus,
he didn't.
He should not insult you.
Yes. In fact, I remember after I disconnected the call, after I cut my hair and I woke up in the morning, I told the Lord, I made a covenant. I didn't know covenant is that serious. So I told the Lord, nimekata nywele imekuwa fupi side moja. Let this be a covenant that I'll never go back to the world. That is one. Second, I need you to grow my hair so that I may not miss this hair of the world. And this is what I'll do
Your
until
hair
date.
is so beautiful.
Actually, I've never plaited my hair, even matuta, even a single day. Since 2018, my hair started now growing. The Lord is faithful because the Bible says He knows the numbers of our hair. So whatever you ask faithfully, He will give you. So I told the Lord, even my hair, when I'm struggling, despite everything, maybe I don't have money for salon, haijawahi katika. It has never.
And you also told the Lord you've thrown away all your clothes, so it's God who has to dress you now.
And let me tell you now, I'll come there. He really dresses me all the time. Rarely will I tell you I've bought these clothes most of the time. It's people who give me clothes. Even now, even my son. So now, after that Sunday, I started reading the word now. The Lord gives me scriptures. I didn't know where to start. You know, normally, if it's your first time, you don't even know where to start.
You don't even know what to read.
Yes. Let me give you a few scriptures that the Lord gave me. It's the 2 Timothy, so that it's not like a story. So I don't want to take much time. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 9 say, I also want women to dress modestly, with decency and appropriate, not with braided hair or gold or pearls or expensive clothes, but with good deeds appropriate for women who profess to worship God. That was the first scripture the Lord gave me. And I think also from the book of Jeremiah. Yeah, it's Jeremiah 4:30. says, "What are you doing, O devastated one? Why dress yourself in scarlet and put on jewels of gold? Why shade your eyes with pain? You adorn yourself in vain. You lovers despise you. They seek for your life." Like those scriptures are just coming. So now I'm reading the Bible that throughout the week. Then I asked around, "Do you know this church of Prophet Wall?" They told me there is one in Dono and Utawala. So during the week, I've thrown away all my clothes. I only have 2 clothes, and I had 7,000 for rent. So I took 1,000 and bought a small dress here. It was a bit longer. For me, it was long. Yeah. So I bought it. It was on Saturday, and I told myself I'll go to this church. So I chose the one for Utawala because it was a bit nearer from where I was staying. I was staying in Tasia by then. So Sunday, I prepared my son. We went to church in the morning. So when we arrived at the gate, I saw the banner of the mightiest prophets of the Lord. And I remember I was telling myself, wow, I'm home. Even the Hasha had me. I said, I felt the presence of the Lord. And when I arrived, I asked the Hasha, is it this or this? Because the altar was big and it was like 2 times. But it was one, of course. So we went inside. Wow, when I entered, I felt like I was lost. I felt peace. I felt at home, and I said, wow, I'm home. I'd gone to Redeem Church, I'd gone to where, but I had never settled. Like, I felt that even the altar, I feared even looking at it. It was so holy with the red carpet, and I told people the Lord is here. So when I arrived, I heard people praying now. It was intercession because I went by around 6:30. So intercession was ongoing at that moment. So people say, oh, you know, I was a prostitute. I'll repeat what they're saying. I was this.
When they are praying?
Yes.
The repentance prayer.
Yes, repentance prayer. So, you know, they are leading that in me. But I didn't know how to pray. So now when they say, I also say what they are saying. Then watch our worship, yes. When worship started, I remember Pastor Sophie that time was the one leading the worship. I cried through the sermon, through the worship session. And by the time by then it was Bishop Kimani. By the time the bishop was coming for the word session, I was still crying. And when he said, those who want to receive the Lord, I was the first one. I told Bishop, I have a testimony. I want to to snatch microphone away from him. And he gave me an opportunity. I gave a testimony. I told them I had slept with married men, you know. I didn't know it was called public repentance by that, but I told them. So
you just felt an urge to do it.
Yes. And I remember Bishop told me to come to I told him, no, I cannot. That place is so holy. He said, no, my daughter, I removed the shoes. I felt it was so holy and I stepped on it. And this is my dress. Remember when they were praying? People were wearing nice dresses and I admired. I wanted those ones. My dress was when I sleep. So I took a lasso and covered myself. And when I gave a testimony, I told them, the Lord is here. Let's fear the Lord. I was addicted to pornography, all these things. I told them, I mentioned them. And I slept with men. It was a public repentance. I told Bishop, please, I miss these clothes, these holy clothes. If I can get them, I'll really appreciate it. And then my testimony, people were really touched. Then I told Bishop, I heard the mightiest prophets of the Lord say, go and get baptized. Me, I want to be baptized. The Messiah is coming. Me, I knew Messiah was coming very soon at that moment. But the bishop that time delayed with the baptism. I went to Kitengela, Bishop Oguta. I was baptized. Yes, I heard somebody say this. I told him, can you take me there? And they took me. Wow. And when I came back, I gave a second testimony and I told Bishop, the ones who we came with have not been baptized. And the mightiest prophets of the Lord said, be baptized.
To fulfill all
Yeah, we was forced now to look for a swimming pool near Feather there. And they were baptized. So for me, it was immediate. The deliverance was instant. So after that, I remember I talked to one of the overseer. By then, I told them I'm still bitter with my family because what I had gone through. So he prayed for me. And after that, I went back to my grandma. I told them, this is what this you did for me. But me, I've come to say, forgive me. I didn't ask them to say it. Let them say we are sorry. I told them forgive me and I have forgiven you. Yet they were the ones.
You went as though you are the one who wronged them.
Yes, but I cried. I felt everything. When I was talking, I told them, you accused me of prostitution, something I never did. I was busy just trying to survive. So even in that case, you don't have time to look for me. You are struggling to get food, shelter.
Survival.
It was just for survival. And two, you are the reason why I was doing this. But they have never even today to say sorry. In fact, there was a time my grandma called me. Even now, when I'm the way I am, tell me to go and apologize to my uncle to buy some shopping like a tradition, I refused. I told her.
To apologize as if what you said was not
because
true.
At I hold him, it's not good when you hold your uncles like you want to beat him. Nikamwambia I was just pushing him so that I may. Ati nunua shopping peleka. Unajua hizo ni matambiko. You're not supposed to do those things. I told him, oh, is that a problem? So I called my uncle. Uncle, pole, kama nilikukosea, naomba msamaha. Nini kenye ilifanyika, naomba msamaha. And that was it. But my grandma still doesn't believe that was okay. You want me to carry shopping?
When you have repented,
yes.
Of course, the way me I see it is that, at times you feel like if you don't escape, this person can even kill you. So you just want to be free.
Yes.
Yes. But if they feel that was wrong and you have repented to him and you have also repented to God,
yes,
I don't think you need to go with shopping and all that.
That is blackmail actually. It's like no.
And they are not believing that you were wrong. According to them, they did right.
Kabisa. So even today, my uncle never agreed that he did the thing, but me, I've forgiven them. I've forgiven them. And after that, now I got born again. There was a serious clash with the devil because the devil, of course, will not want you to get born again. That is now when the time men are coming, lining up, they want to marry, and they are divorcees, you can imagine. And I remember at some point I texted the mightiest prophets of the Lord. I wrote an email and told them, I get proposals from the people who are not born again, wanting to marry me. Could it be that I'm still attached to the one? And our fathers told me that he is still praying for me. And I felt like the attacks were a lot because immediately I received the Lord. I lost jobs, and I remember at some point I sold everything until it was time cutting just to survive now, because you've made a covenant that you're never going to go back to the world, you're not going to sleep with men again. And it is true, that is what happened till date. I went through what you call purification. So people think that when you get born again, it's just
a smooth ride.
No, there are challenges. There are actually, for me, I will tell people, the moment you declare that you love the Lord, just know that you've declared war with the devil, because he will want to pull you back there. But that should not give you a reason to give up on God, because God never gives up on us.
Yes.
Me, I've never, and I tell people, stand with the Lord until the very end. It has never been smooth for me, even after I received salvation. But despite that, the Lord has fought for me, even like the ones that I can say fought physically, for sure. When you decide that you are on the side of the Lord, it will not be easy. I don't know why people think if the Messiah himself, Jesus Christ, went through a lot of things, and he said the way to the cross is through the wilderness. Lazima upitie hizi purifications. Lazima ndio ikusharpen na pia you build your faith with the Lord. How can you say, because the Bible says on that day the Lord will wipe away our tears. How can you say the Lord will wipe away your tears
when you never
you never cried? Why do people think that when you're going, they started leaving Jesus, they start saying, oh, Jesus is not real, just because it didn't work according to your plans? At the end of the day, it has to be the will of God. And if your mother or your father cares so much about you, how much more about your Creator who loves you, who would even send his son to come and die for you? When I received the Lord, I lost my job. And I remember that time I sold everything back to gas, and I remained with stock. the paraffin stove. And I sold my toaster, TV, everything just to survive. I'm young in my salvation, and I remember my neighbor would bring bangi, There is a guy who was staying next to my door at that time, and I used to go for Kesha at that time, and I would pray so much. I didn't know the Lord. I was still new, but I knew the Lord loves me so much. Excuse me. So this guy would come, invite friends, will smoke bang outside my door. And when I complained to my caretaker, it was physical, it was I can say it was like retaliation, because now they knew me before I got born again. Now I got born again, started wearing long clothes. Then there is a lady who came and brought for me holy coat, 8 of them.
Wow.
It was a crusade, and then she told me, I have mzigo yako. The Lord started from there.
May the Lord bless that lady wherever she is.
Amen. But I am grateful to her forever. May the Lord remember her wherever she is. She gave me 8 of them, and in fact, I started having a lot of those clothes, and I started also blessing other widows with them. So now, this guy comes, and he was called Mike. So he saw me when I don't know if he had intentions with me, but he never told me or something. So he was bitter when I got born again. So one time they will write some letters, notes, and throw on my window, hammer, Malaya. They'll call
like what was, they felt bothered by your holy dressing?
Probably, and me getting, sometimes assaults. The devil is a liar, I tell you. I never knew the intentions. They really hated me. And I told caretaker, waambie the smoke, it is affecting the baby. Akasema umeenda kutusema kwa caretaker, Hama, So these guys would come and smoke, and I would fear. We would lock the door back na kifuli, because I would think they might come and harm me at night. And they would bring the woofer, the woofer outside. Just imagine.
A lot of noise.
12 midnight, and they are putting those songs, music, the worldly music. And my door will shake, boom, 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 because now I can't do anything. And I remember I cried. That one night I went to the Lord, to Kesha, and I cried and wept. I told the Lord, I left everything for you. Why are you leaving me to be tortured and to go through trials like this? Why have you forsaken me? These people, why are they harassing me? So that night, it was on Saturday, Friday. Saturday around 5, we came back from church, from Kesha. That was Saturday morning. I woke up at around 11 to wash clothes. But I didn't see this Mike come out of the house. So we were still waiting. I didn't bother, because he normally passes. I thought he had gone to his businesses as usual. At around 6 p.m. Saturday, we cooked supper. We went to bed. At around 12 midnight, going to Sunday, I had people talking, whispering around near my door. Mike amekufa, Mike amekufa. What? So I'm just like, what is happening? So I get out. People are saying, what is wrong? Say, Mike, so the door was, the window was open. It was a bed sitter, of course, so the bed was just, So when he had pulled the t-shirts and facing that side like this, and then there were scratches in the stomach. Mike died mysteriously. Till date, nobody knows what happened. I cried. I told the Lord I didn't tell you to kill him, So I don't know what really happened. And I remember when the mother came, their tradition that they need to stay there when they were from Luya. There's a culture they need to stay. So the mother came and told me there were some things between me and them, and people were saying that maybe that could have happened, that this lady was born again, So the mother confessed it to me, that they were suspecting maybe I would have killed him or something. I told her no. But people told her, that lady is born again. And I remember that guy really forced me to buy also an oof, and I'll put the Nifundishe kunyamaza, that song. I used to put Nifundishe kunyamaza all the time. So he died, and later he was taken to be buried. And from there now, my rent accumulated to around 56,000. I had not paid for 5 months, and I never gave up. I waited on the Lord. So the Lord caused the job that I had applied like last year, May, to come like this year, January now. So I got this job. I had not qualified. They wanted IT people, but I had never even gone to any computer classes. So I got this job as an office admin. I worked for like a year.
Wow.
I cleared my rent.
Mm.
It has been a challenge, okay? Then later,
But God has been
yes,
faithful through the challenges.
faithful. Let me tell you, let people not even blackmail the Lord. Let people not give up on the Lord. The Lord is faithful. I think you see, it's a choice. People, when things don't work the way they want, they will look for excuses just to blame God or to blame, I don't know, you know. So now comes that time I joined a college here near Chichani. I joined for office admin because I had gotten a good job as an office admin. I was being paid well. I started joining the college, though I didn't finish. I was paying. I took my son from private school. I took him to primary, primary public school, so that I can afford to go to college. So later, when the meeting came for Kisumu, where the clouds came down, I got a job with Airtel customer care, and I was on training that time. So the Lord really fought for me. I got a job at Airtel. Later, I got a job again at Mkopa customer care for 3 years during the COVID time. I was really working.
Oh, so when people are laid off, you were working?
Yes, in fact, I got a job during that time.
Wow.
And I remember interview was done at home. I had a laptop. I borrowed somebody a laptop. I did an interview at home. We were not going to the offices. We were trained at home. And I started working from home. So me, I had a job. The favor of the Lord, I tell you. The Lord has really carried me through. So I got a job. I was doing well until around 2023 May, when root access which was introduced. So the people who we joined during the COVID-19, we were told we were laid off. And at around May, I got another job at One Pay Insurance. I was an office admin again. I worked for 1 month. Then again, my son was electrocuted. It was October. November 13th, it was on a Monday. My son was 7 years old.
Beloved people, at this point, we're going to take a short break. Welcome to the other side of the break. We're going to have Anastasia's son's testimony, and it will be part 2 of this video.